In this village, there's a ghost that eats people's heads. But the real fear isn't in the water, it's in people's hearts. The story takes place in a small village in 19th century Vietnam. Even the mornings are foggy, and there's this weird, heavy feeling in the air. For 5 years, the villagers have lived under the shadow of a scary legend they call the drowning ghost. They believe a vengeful spirit lives in the lake, and this spirit doesn't just kill people, it drags them under and eats their heads. So far, 8 people have died, and their headless bodies washed up on the shore. The whole village is shaking with fear. In the middle of all this fear, we meet Moon, a clothes trader. She's a tough and brave woman who loves her niece more than anything. But then, her world is turned upside down when her niece suddenly goes missing. 5 days go by. Moon looks everywhere but can't find a single clue. The only thing she finds is her niece's slipper floating on the edge of the creepy lake. The villagers and the district chief all think the drowning ghost is behind this. Everyone's convinced the girl is dead. The chief even tells his soldiers not to search anymore, saying it's out of their hands. But Moon isn't ready to give up. She trusts logic and won't just follow things blindly. That's when she spots something important everyone else missed. In past cases, the body was always found on the shore, but her niece's body is nowhere to be found. She thinks her niece might still be alive. She suspects a person, not a ghost, is behind this. So she calls in help, a detective who trusts science and careful observation, not rumors. He's known for cracking mysteries people think are supernatural. But usually, he finds it's just human greed causing trouble. His name is Kien. Kien shows up in the village, armed with a sword and a keen mind. Right away, he feels the eerie vibe in the air. Small temples are everywhere, and the air is thick with incense smoke. Kien notices something odd, too. Some villagers are dealing with nosebleeds. He heads over to the chief's house to meet Moon. When he gets there, Moon is arguing with the guards, begging for help. Kien steps in and uses his authority to back her up. We find out that Moon and Kien know each other. Kien once arrested Moon's crooked ex-husband. Still, Moon respects Kien's honesty. She tells him, "The chief's useless, people are scared, and my niece is missing." They go to the niece's place where she lived with her dad. Kien starts looking into it and learns that Moon's niece was a quiet girl with no enemies. But then a big clue comes up. 2 weeks ago, someone tried to break into her room. The girl bravely stabbed the thief in the hand with something sharp, making him run away. He didn't take anything valuable, just some pottery. Kien checks the room and finds the girl's clothes and savings still there. She didn't run off. She was taken. Kien decides to go to the lakeshore. Moon wants to come along, but Kien says no to keep her safe and avoid any gossip. At the prison, Kien meets a fisherman who says the chief hired a shaman to cleanse the village. Kien doesn't believe in magic, but meets the shaman anyway. The shaman gives Kien an amulet and warns that the ghost is bloodthirsty. When Kien asks about local plants, especially a burr fruit found on the niece's slipper, Moon shows up. She's determined to help and explains that this fruit only grows in one place, a hidden waterfall in the hills. This gives them hope. Kien and Moon head over to the waterfall. Once they get there, things get serious. Kien spots fresh blood on the rocks. Moon freaks out, thinking it's her niece's blood. Kien tries to calm her down, saying it might just be animal blood, but he's suspicious. They search until it gets dark, but don't find anything. That night, Kien stays at a guest house. The shaman's incense smoke drifts through the village. While trying to sleep, Kien starts having the same symptoms as the villagers. His nose begins to bleed. He feels restless, but eventually falls asleep. Then he has a terrifying nightmare. In his dream, Kien sees Moon's niece by the water. Suddenly, hands reach out and drag her under. Kien tries to save her, but when he pulls her up, he's holding her severed head. He wakes up shaking. The line between dream and reality is getting fuzzy. The next morning, Kien focuses on the facts. He heads to the market to retrace the girl's last steps. A witness says she closed her shop early that day and went to the waterfall. Before she left, she had an argument with a woman named 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 isn't just anyone, she's the chief's daughter. Rich, arrogant, and powerful. Kien questions her. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 admits they argued, but says it was just about a clothing order. She says the girl threatened to take money from a guy named 𝐷𝐻𝐿. So now we have a new name, 𝐷𝐻𝐿. He's a pottery artist who lives in the bamboo forest and is also 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿's fiancé. Kien and Moon go to check out 𝐷𝐻𝐿's studio. They find some beautiful pottery there that looks just like the stuff in the niece's room. Kien pushes 𝐷𝐻𝐿 to talk, and he tells a sad story. He says his engagement to 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 was arranged by their parents, but he wasn't happy about it. He was actually in love with Moon's niece. She didn't have much money, but 𝐷𝐻𝐿 saw her as his soulmate. He asked the chief for permission to marry her, but the chief and 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 felt insulted and got really angry. 𝐷𝐻𝐿 planned to call off his engagement and run away with the girl. This changes everything. Here's what's going on. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 was jealous. Her engagement was falling apart because of this girl. The fight about clothes was just a cover-up. The real issue was 𝐷𝐻𝐿. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 even spread rumors that the girl was pregnant to embarrass her, but 𝐷𝐻𝐿 denies it. Kien sums up the case. The thief who broke into the niece's room wasn't there by chance. Maybe 𝐷𝐻𝐿 sent the thief to steal proof of their relationship, or maybe someone else did. Kien recalls the thief had a hurt hand. Now he has to find a guy with a hand injury. Moon has a plan. She sets up a knife-throwing contest to draw out the suspect. It works. Kien spots a guy named Dong, a well-known thief with a bandaged hand. Kien tails him and finds the stolen pottery. He catches him. Scared, Dong confesses. He admits to stealing but denies killing the girl. He pleads for mercy, saying the chief ruined his life. Then he drops a bombshell. The night he stole, he saw Lady Wong, the chief's wife, sneaking out of the girl's house. That means the chief's whole family is mixed up in this. Kien confronts the chief's wife and daughter. Things are getting intense. Kien is lying, saying he's got a witness who saw 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 at the waterfall. Under the pressure, 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 breaks down. She cries and confesses. She admits she met the girl to warn her to stay away from 𝐷𝐻𝐿. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 says she pushed the girl in anger. The girl fell and hit her head. When 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 saw the blood, she thought she'd killed her and ran off. Lady Wong steps in to protect her daughter. She insists it was an accident and that the drowning ghost must have taken the body. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 gets arrested, but the body's still missing. Kien's exhausted. The incense smoke gets thicker and he starts hallucinating. He sees the drowning ghost attacking him. His deputy shows up and brings him back to life. The deputy also brings some old case files. Kien starts looking for a pattern. He reads that 30 years ago, a family of 14 people was beheaded for being traitors. The guy who ordered the executions was the young chief back then. While Kien digs into the past, something awful happens. A headless body is found by the lake. The whole village freaks out. Moon is terrified, thinking it's her niece. The chief's family feels relieved, believing this proves the ghost killed the girl and that 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐿 will be cleared. But Kien takes a closer look at the body. He notices what everyone else missed. The skin on the body is smooth, No wrinkles at all. If the corpse had been in water for a week, it would have started to decompose. Plus, the head was cleanly cut with a sharp weapon. Kien realizes this isn't the niece. It's a fresh corpse of another girl, dressed in her clothes to close the case. If this body's fake, the niece might still be alive. Kien knows Dong is hiding something. He finds the niece's jewelry box with Dong and learns that Dong and a maid are working together. They're blackmailing Lady Wong. Dong saw the fight by the waterfall. When 𝐿 ran off, Dong realized the girl was alive but unconscious. Instead of helping her, he hid her in a cave to extort money. Dong threw the slippers into the lake to fake a ghost story. Later, he killed an innocent woman to use her body as a fake corpse, so he could demand a big ransom from Lady Wong. Lady Wong agreed to pay to protect her reputation, but secretly planned to kill Dong. She took the money into the jungle. Kien and Moon followed her. They reached a cave where Dong had the niece tied up. He brought her out. Lady Wong tries to set Dong up, but things get violent. Kien shows up. Dong swings a sword at him. They go at it hard. Kien, still messed up from the poison incense, struggles and starts seeing ghosts. Meanwhile, Lady Wong tries to kill the girl to shut everything down. Moon fights Lady Wong fiercely, like a lioness. Just as Dong is about to kill Kien, Kien shoves him onto some spikes, killing him. Moon takes down Lady Wong. The girl makes it through. The police arrive and arrest Lady Wong and 𝐿. The kidnapping case is finally closed. Moon and her niece are back together. The chief's family has been exposed, but the team still isn't sure about the drowning ghost. The mystery behind the other deaths is still unsolved. The fake body explained one case, but not the rest. Kien goes back to the incense and takes a sample to a doctor. The doctor says the incense has a rare poison that causes fear, hallucinations, and bleeding. So the ghost was just a trick set up by the shaman. Kien rushes to catch him, but he's already gone. Then another body is found, the district chief. He's also missing his head. Kien figures out the truth behind the massacre from 30 years ago. The chief killed 14 people in the family, but there were actually 15 of them. One kid survived and saw it all happen. That kid grew up to be the shaman. He came back to tear the village apart. He used incense to drug the people and spread fear. Using a ghost story as a cover, he went after the ones who killed his family. The chief was the last one he took down. Kien finds a winter jacket in the shaman's hut. He's already fled north. The movie ends with Kien and his deputy heading north to catch the serial killer. This wasn't some ghost story. It was a story about pain and revenge. Thanks for watching.